Hi guys, this is Stina with Goddess Guitars, and today is going to be a tutorial on how to make your own alcohol inks. Now, I have been using alcohol inks on my guitar finishes with a lot of success, but they were primarily something that was an unconventional product for any sort of wood. They started out as a scrapbooking media, and they were really cool. They blend very interestingly. They can create really cool techniques, but the problem is they're super expensive. You usually get 3.3 ounce bottles for about $12. The cheapest I found it is at the in the arts supply area of your local craft store, Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and you can get maybe a half an ounce for about $5 for each color. This is going to definitely save a lot of money because you can use any permanent marker and regular rubbing alcohol. So I'm going to go over what you'll need and what I've found to be the best for working with these and making them so that way they're vivid enough to utilize in your scrapbooking and also in your woodworking projects. So first of all, I've got a bunch of different Sharpie markers. These are fluorescents and they're actually black light sensitive, so I'm really excited to try these out. There are some that are going to be limited colors, and then also I found these are just generic permanent markers, but as long as they smell like a Sharpie and they say permanent on them, they will work. Now I do suggest using at least 70% isopropyl alcohol. 91% is the best. However, I found that with the pandemic going on right now, it is difficult to find 91% isopropyl alcohol. So 70% works just fine. It just takes a little bit longer to dry because there is more water in it. And then also you'll want some tape to be able to label your containers on what colors they are, because when the inks are liquid they look a little bit different sometimes and you can't tell what's turquoise and what's royal blue, so it makes sense to mark things. And then also today I'm using some Ziploc locking containers. These are 4 ounce. However, you can use, if you go to the dollar store, sometimes they have those travel shampoo bottles, and those work just fine because they're 3 ounces. And I found that 5 of each of the colors in about 2.5–3 ounces worth of rubbing alcohol works the best for a really vivid alcohol ink, and it makes 10 times as much for a fraction of the cost. So let's get started. And before I get too ahead of myself, I made a color swatch so you can see all the different colors of how the markers were, and then at the end we'll compare it to how the alcohol inks come across on the same paper. Okay, I also forgot to mention that you're going to need a pretty good set of pliers to open those Sharpies. So you're going to take your container and always start with the lightest color and move to the darkest around the color wheel. And you want to make sure that you not only get the cartridge, but the little nib where you draw with them, because those have a lot of pigment in them as well. And you want to just kind of grab in between where the base of the marker is and the colored portion. And it takes a little bit of elbow grease sometimes to get those going. But a good pliers will definitely help. And so you just do that for all 4 or 5 of your same color markers. What's really nice about this is you can easily customize your colors. If you have something that's too blue and you have something that's too green and you want something in the middle of it, you can actually take 3 of the green and 3 of the blue and put them together in the same soaking container, and you have a custom color. So I really, really like these because you do have a wide range of colors to choose from. And if you know anything about color mixing or the color wheel, really the spectrum is infinite. As you notice, I will be forgetting the last of the markers with that neon yellow, but I did remember it. It just wasn't on camera. And so you can either take all of your marker nibs and cartridges and seal them up in containers and then fill them up with alcohol at the end, or you can fill them up with alcohol as you're going along, and that's what I chose to do. So you can either measure 2 or 3 ounces of alcohol. I just kind of eyeballed it. And as you can see, it doesn't take long for that alcohol to start getting those cartridges to release some of the pigment. Usually I let them sit about 24 to 48 hours, and I agitate them every once in a while. You want to make sure that the cartridges are fully submersed into the alcohol, so if you need to, use a craft scissors to cut them. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all 20 different colors, so I just snapshotted after I did each color. Now, you'll see the color starting to release out of the cartridges. As soon as it's done, here's the swatch with the alcohol inks below the scribbles of each color. Now, you'll see that the color is starting to release on these. And the darker colors, it'll be easier to see, but the lighter colors, it'll still happen with. And so you'll want to make sure that when you remove the cartridges and the nibs, that they're going to be a lot lighter than when you put them in. And I'm going to be going to and panning to a close-up that in just a second, but you can see where that labeling is really important because some of the colors look very similar once the color has released into the alcohol. This is what I was talking about. You see where it's lighter on the tips than in the center. You want to leave those cartridges in until they're all pale. Just keep agitating and swirling it around. It might take 24 or 48 hours. But here is the final product. I got 20 different colors of 3 ounces of alcohol ink. This would cost probably around $400 if you were to buy them from Ranger or a scrapbooking supply. If you could get them in 3 ounces. Usually you can only get them in 1/3 of an ounce. But also, then I put them into travel bottles that I got at the dollar store. Anything that is going to be spill-proof. So, and make sure you mark things because as you can see, these colors all look the same, even though they're different when you actually apply them. So, I had so much fun making this tutorial video for you. I hope you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.